Our main character, Srau, known for his passion for trashy games filled with bugs and glitches, has always found joy in the chaos. Despite overcoming numerous challenges in these low-quality games, Srau reaches a breaking point in one particular game where the princess's annoying behavior becomes unbearable. After completing the game, Srau decides to take matters into his own hands and gives the princess a taste of his frustration. While Srau is an avid fan of such games, there are girls who admire him. One girl, Keeni, harbors a secret crush on him and hopes to find an opportunity to talk to him. Unfortunately, Srau's best friend beats her to the punch, leaving her feeling disappointed. Determined, Keeni decides to visit the game store frequented by Srau. The store clerk's older sister, understanding Keeni's intentions, tries to help by flirting with her and providing information about the game Srau is currently playing. As Srau enters the store and starts discussing the trashy game with the older sister, Keeni gets shy and disappears when the hero arrives. The older sister, seeing the potential for a budding romance, recommends a popular game for Srau and Keeni to play together. Despite Srau's initial skepticism, he decides to give it a try. Upon putting on the VR glasses and entering the game world, Srau faces the task of choosing a profession. The game offers hundreds of options, and after careful consideration, he selects a mercenary with 2 swords. Opting to be a vagabond for his character's origin, Srau sacrifices defense for a lucky bonus, crucial for the game's mechanics. The customization continues with the character's appearance, and Srau, being more weapon-focused than defensive, ends up with a bird head mask. Selling all unnecessary defense equipment for in-game currency, he avoids the embarrassment of running around naked. Naming his character with 2 swords, Srau delves into the game world, spawning in a forest due to his vagabond origin. The realism of the game surprises Srau as he experiences seamless movement and lifelike responsiveness. Excited about the immersive environment, he plans to explore the newbie village first. During his journey, a sudden attack by a kobold catches him off guard. Displaying his gaming prowess, Srau dodges the attack, swiftly defeating the kobold. As a reward, he levels up to 2 and obtains a stone axe dropped by the defeated enemy. The stone axe, unfortunately, had low durability, making it unsuitable for prolonged use. Srau's attention shifted when the grass beside him rustled, and a rabbit wielding a knife charged at him. Swiftly dodging the initial attack, Srau couldn't help but be impressed by the rabbit's surprising prowess. He decided to block the next attack with his weapon, engaging in a brief exchange with the rabbit. Despite delivering a powerful blow to the rabbit's abdomen, it didn't succumb immediately, prompting Srau to finish the job quickly. Defeating the rabbit elevated Srau to level 4, revealing that it was an elite monster. Surprisingly, the rabbit didn't drop its weapon, but Srau acquired new skills, dodge and block, through his strategic maneuvers. Intrigued by the possibility of obtaining the rabbit's weapon, Srau embarked on a quest, killing 50 rabbits before finally securing 2 weapons. However, the low drop rate and durability made him decide to save them for critical moments. As Srau leveled up to 12, he allocated points to strength and luck. Determined to become a fortunate player, he skipped the novice village and aimed for the second town. To reach it, he had to cross a bridge guarded by a formidable foe, Guardian Lucian. Srau, with a movement speed buff, faced Lucian's attacks. Although he learned to counterattack, he underestimated Lucian's defense, breaking his weapon in the process. Srau reluctantly switched to the rabbit knife, which he had been preserving. Leaping towards Lucian, he attempted to strike the big snake, but it retaliated with a surprising move, spraying poisonous gas. Unfazed, Srau analyzed the situation, realizing he had a limited time to defeat Lucian before succumbing to the poison. He sought the snake's weaknesses, discovering a gap between its scales. Launching a burst skill, Srau aimed for the weak spot, dealing significant damage. However, Lucian retaliated with a tail fling, interrupting Srau's output. Undeterred, Srau seized the opportunity to deliver the final blow, reaching level 14 after defeating the snake. While scales and white hair fell from the serpent, Srau had to quickly address the lingering poison status by boosting his endurance and agility. With the poison neutralized, Srau hurried towards the town, intending to set the resurrection point before any potential setbacks. Meanwhile, outside the town, another player engaged in conversation with a girl. As our protagonist raced towards his destination, a girl mistook him for a monster due to his bird head. Fortunately, a vigilant guy intervened just in time, clarifying to the girl that he was a player. He emphasized that aggressive actions could lead to a violation. The guy, recognizing the hero's poisoned state from his behavior, guided him to the inn, explaining the importance of lying on the bed to update the resurrection point. After expressing gratitude, our hero hurried to the inn, leaving an impressed girl praising his experience. At the inn, the hero learned about the mechanics of updating the resurrection point, but tragically succumbed to poison before he could fully recover. Now, with reduced attributes for a specific duration, the hero had to wander around the city. However, his attire, bought in haste, was misconstrued as perversion by other players. To rectify this, he visited the defense store, opting for the cheapest equipment, as defense wasn't a priority. Next, the hero headed to the weapons store, intending to sell the goblin stone axe, but the owner rejected it as trash. Checking the available weapons for sale, the hero found none to his liking. The owner suggested crafting a weapon, emphasizing the low output rate of iron ore. Frustrated, our hero decided to venture into a swamp, where the non-aggressive monsters provided some relief. However, a mud-loving toad dirtied his newly bought clothes, leading to a confrontation where the hero used the cobalt stone axe to his advantage. After defeating the toad, the hero collected frog skin for new clothes and spent hours gathering materials for crafting. Just as he contemplated which weapon to make, the boss discovered a rare swamp ore, allowing him to craft a rare short sword with additional durability loss after a bludgeon, a divine weapon for an assassin like him. The boss warned against venturing out at night due to fierce demons, but our hero, undeterred, planned to explore. Simultaneously, Yi, who harbored feelings for the hero, sought him in the game. Having defeated the big snake effortlessly, she waited in the newbie village but couldn't find him. Assuming he had skipped the novice area, she traced his steps. The hero, now outside the city testing his new weapon, encountered ferocious monsters at night. As he showcased his prowess against the challenging foes, a massive shockwave interrupted his battle, instantly dispatching the kobolds. The hero sensed an overwhelming oppression, realizing he had underestimated the game when he encountered the unique monster, Lucan, in Shangri-La Borderlands. There were only 7 monsters of this level in the entire game, signifying Lucan's formidable combat power. With his current equipment and level, a single hit from Lucan would mean certain defeat. Instead of panicking, the hero felt excitement, relishing the challenge as extreme challenges were his favorite. Lucan initiated an attack and the hero skillfully executed a perfect block, a move learned from the battle with the Red Hat Goblin. The hero acknowledged that the skill had saved him from imminent death. Lucan continued his assault, forcing the hero to switch to the Rabbit Blade, the weapon with the highest attack power. Applying an evasion buff, the hero countered Lucan's attacks. However, Lucan employed stealth and disappeared into the night. The hero felt a cold breeze before dodging a sneak attack. Lucan continued to elude him, disappearing and reappearing, keeping the hero on edge. Despite Lucan's deceptive tactics, the hero remained composed, launching counterattacks whenever possible. Lucan, not to be underestimated, had also acquired the deception skill, pausing its attacks when it observed the hero's blocking stance. While Keeni searched for the hero, she encountered the couple from before. Learning that the hero had skipped the newbie village and headed directly to the second town, Keeni, with super high movement speed, rushed towards the town. She was stunned to discover the cloak on G's back, signifying a warband specializing in hunting down night raids on Lucan. The hero's battle with Lucan left him feeling powerless, unable to inflict significant damage, and his lethal chopper became tattered. Recognizing the gap in their strengths, Lucan unleashed a fearsome roar, incapacitating the hero and breaking his legs with a single claw. Despite this setback, the hero vowed to return for revenge. Lucan sent him back to the city, but the unexpected twist came when the monster placed a curse on him. The curse restricted equipping items, caused lower-level monsters to flee, and interfered with the hero's dialogue with NPCs. To lift the curse, the hero needed to find the Holy Maiden and pray or defeat the caster. Dumbfounded initially, the hero quickly accepted the reality, having endured the hardships of trashy games. He checked his attributes and discovered a surprising level increase to 28. Allocating all 50 attribute points to agility and luck, the hero embraced the reality that speed and luck were now his only means of survival, especially with no defensive gear. In an unexpected turn, luck became his highest attribute. The hero couldn't help but express his amazement at the fact that his high luck value hadn't brought him any peculiar encounters. In the next moment, a rabbit unexpectedly fell from the sky, hitting him on the head. Glancing back, he noticed it wasn't the infamous fatal rabbit. To his surprise, the rabbit waved its hands, signaling the hero to follow it. Without hesitation, the male lead trailed after the rabbit. Drawing from his gaming experience, he anticipated that this encounter might lead to obtaining rare items. As they reached a dead end, a gate materialized. The rabbit, opening the gate, gestured for the hero to follow. Although hesitant, the hero observed the gate's inscription, Plot Rabbit Country. Intrigued by the promise of a storyline, he decided to step through. Unbeknownst to him, the recommended level of 80 was written on the door. The Kingdom of Rabbits earned its name because it was teeming with rabbits. His anxiety is soon met with the unexpected presence of a cheeky little bunny who had lured him into this perilous journey. To Ruro's surprise, the bunny expresses an intense desire to meet him, explaining that the entire Rabbit Tusa is buzzing about his exploits. Despite Ruro's self-perceived weaknesses, the bunny commends him for his extraordinary courage in facing the Night Slayer alone and executing flawless deadly blows without a scratch. Ruro, in the eyes of the bunny, embodies the valorous rabbit soul. Bewildered by the little creature's enthusiasm, Ruro humbly dismisses his accomplishments, pointing out that he barely left a mark on the formidable Night Emperor. The bunny goes on to reveal that Ruro, under the apparent protection of divinity, is seen not as prey but as a fellow being by the Night Emperor. Ruro, skeptical and questioning the rabbit's sanity, recalls the peculiar traits of the marks on his body affecting NPC interactions. The bunny, undeterred, discloses that his boss wishes to meet Ruro. As Imil leads Ruro to his powerful father and boss, Vizet, the rabbit boss of Rabbit Tusa, Ruro is taken aback by the sheer presence of this imposing figure. Vizet acknowledges Ruro as the one defeated and humiliated by the unique monster that he humorously refers to as a puppy. Initially dismissive of humans, Vizet now sees promise in Ruro and requests his time, shocking our hero. Meanwhile, back at the game shop, Mana notices Ray, a persistent stalker on the trail of her not-so-secret crush Ruro. Mana, aware of the summer vacation and Ruro's penchant for forging his own path in Shangri-La Frontier, encourages Ray to step up her stalking game. In an unexpected twist, Mana advises Ray to confess her feelings to Ruro. In another corner of the story, Ruro learns about the trigger conditions for the unique scenario in Rabbit Tusa. Defeating a higher-level monster with Vabel weapons equips leads to an invitation from a special Pal Bunny. Upon arrival, the task is to vanquish the Ionian Python, terrorizing the city to acquire the ancient Pal spell. However, Ruro's recent experiences prove that the events did not unfold as expected, and he finds himself faced with an offer he initially struggles to comprehend from the imposing Yakuza-like bunny, Vizet. Realizing that this might be an opportunity for training, Ruro eagerly accepts Vizet's offer, excited about the potential buffs that unique scenario training could bring. However, he almost finds himself in a tight spot when he casually refers to Vizet as Aniki, clarifying it as a joke. Ruro manages to escape harm as Vizet, surprisingly, laughs it off. Vizet acknowledges Ruro as his underling and grants him the privilege of calling him Vash, a title reserved for those with potential. Overjoyed, Emil takes charge of guiding Ruro on a tour of the palace, but Ruro, fatigued from his lengthy gaming session, requests a break. In his thoughts, he contemplates delving deeper into unique scenarios and monsters. Emil assures Ruro that he can register his respawn point at the palace, and Vash, recalling a crucial detail, places a Pal soul collar on Ruro. Shocked to discover the collar's effects, Ruro learns it grants 2.5 times the stat points upon leveling up, but comes at the cost of receiving only half the experience. Attempting to remove the collar, Ruro is thwarted by Vash, who insists that such hardship is necessary for the weak to grow strong, emphasizing the importance of the Vorpal soul. The quirky bunny compliments Ruro on how the collar looks on him, but Ruro can't fathom the additional restriction imposed upon him. Returning to the present, Ruro acknowledges the upside of gaining 2.5 times the stat points, considering it a significant advantage, possibly a hidden cheat code. Excited about having discovered a unique scenario unknown to others, he realizes he has an appointment with someone named Katso. Logging into a long-forgotten game called Berserk Online Passion, or BURP, Ruro navigates through its dwindling player base of trash game enthusiasts. Meeting with Katsu, Ruro inquires about the fight's rules, and the match begins. Katsu unveils a new move, the NSFW Tentacle Attack, showcasing a glitch he developed while Ruro was engrossed in Folia Online. Despite Katsu's shock at Ruro's fast reaction speed, Ruro confidently counters with his quick draw fist, displaying his unique fighting style. Their intense fight catches the attention of onlookers, demonstrating the niche appeal of burp, where anything goes. The battle continues with gate and gun punching, and Ruro celebrates breaking off one of Katsu's fists. However, this victory turns out to be his downfall, as the detached fist unexpectedly ends the fight. Ruro, stunned by the unusual hitbox mechanics, concedes defeat. Despite losing, Ruro thanks Katsu for providing a much-needed PvP challenge, explaining his recent focus on fighting NPCs. Katsu, bewildered but intrigued, learns that Ruro is deeply invested in SLF and reveals the existence of the formidable Seven Colossi, a mystery yet to be unraveled by the player base. Ruro, animated by his conversation with Katsu, reveals that he faced one of the Seven Colossi in SLF, only to be swiftly defeated. Intrigued by Ruro's account, Katsu decides to give SLF a try, acknowledging that none of his real-life friends played burp anyway. He sends a message to a certain purple-haired girl who also plays SLF, informing her that Ruro is now in the game. Unbeknownst to Ruro, the girl receives the message while engaging in a fierce battle against several opponents, effortlessly earning the player kill badge for defeating real players. The purple-haired girl muses about Ruro's penchant for trash games, jokingly speculating that he might have a condition where he'd die if he stopped playing them. She expresses her excitement about Ruro joining SLF and decides that she'll gently guide him through the game. Back in Secondale, Ruro reflects on Emel's usefulness in utilizing a teleport gate, attributing his ease of movement in SLF to his burp experience. Wondering why Ruro is in a hurry to leave Rabbit Tuza, Emel questions his decision since there's much to explore. Ruro, however, emphasizes the importance of reaching Third Rama before the influx of players during summer break causes congestion and competition for resources. Shocked that Emel didn't understand his reasoning, Ruro discovers that he can add NPCs to his party and accepts Emel's party request. Despite Emel's higher stats, Ruro is confident he'll surpass him soon. Believing that the Leon's Mark triggered the unique scenario, Ruro wonders if Emel is the game's compensation for it. As they prepare to depart, they are interrupted by two girls who find Emel adorable and inquire about having him as a pet. Ruro, concerned about revealing the unique scenario, claims Emel is just a ventriloquism act, but the girls take a photo and plan to ask forums about the talking bunny. Away from the crowds, Emel admits he's not a high-level athlete, eagerly anticipating their next task. Ruro reveals his plan to test the curse, making lower-level monsters flee. A lower-level monster appears and runs away upon seeing the curse, prompting Ruro to chase it with a well-timed throw, exploiting the game's physics. Impressed by the game's realism, Emel arrives with exuberance, and Ruro, satisfied with the test, decides to ignore lower-level monsters and head straight for the area boss, leaving the scrubs behind. Marveling at the plan's simplicity, Ruro and Emel set off with excitement to face the challenges ahead. However, just moments later, frustration overtakes Ruro as they reach the supposed boss area, only to find an expansive swamp stretching as far as the eye can see. Emel, on the other hand, is more concerned about the well-being of his stylish attire. Recalling Emel's earlier explanation during their journey, Ruro realizes that the area boss, Mud Digger, is a formidable monster that launches attacks from the ground. Now faced with the prospect of battling this creature in a swamp, Ruro becomes increasingly uneasy about the challenging terrain. Emel, using his keen senses, detects the approaching beast. They barely manage to evade the emergence of a colossal monster. Shangri Frontier's swamp terrain imposes a walking state, trapping one leg until the other foot reaches the bottom. This characteristic complicates the encounter with the ferocious Mud Digger, whose recommended party size is 4. Ruro realizes the potential mistake, considering this to be the worst possible matchup for him. To their surprise, the beast can dive into the shallow swamp, defying real-world logic thanks to the game's mechanics. Emel panics, envisioning a gruesome fate, but Ruro swiftly employs his slide move, narrowly escaping the monster's deadly attack. However, the respite was short-lived as the boss, showing no mercy, exploited a unique trick to close the gap swiftly. Despite the impressive moves displayed in the battle with Lucan, the hero found himself in a helpless situation. Both of his evasion skills entered a cooldown state, leaving him vulnerable. Desperation set in as he realized that, without finding an alternative defense before the cooldown ended, his crispy chicken might truly be cut to death by Lana. On the sidelines, Imra, who had been watching the spectacle, finally grasped the severity of the crisis and took out his magic book. Navigating the harsh swamp environment, the hero encountered further challenges. The mud shark, initially defeated, woke up. Forced to change tactics, the hero engaged in a fierce battle using the newly learned spiral blade. Seizing the opportunity, he crawled towards the opponent's head with his double knives. In a strategic move, the hero ordered Amura to prepare a trick, relying on his gaming experience to delay as much time as possible on the mud shark's head. The mud shark, teased by the hero, became more violent, but all was part of the plan. Emra's ultimate move, Celestial Clash, knocked the mud shark to the ground. However, when the hero was about to deliver the final blow, the mud shark inexplicably disappeared. The swamp shook violently, and the hero's feet seemed stuck. Without time to react, he grabbed M's hand and threw him violently, while he himself was launched into the sky by the escaping mud shark. Although Omura shouted in panic, the hero emerged unscathed. However, realizing the proud-looking mud shark at his feet, the hero soon understood something was amiss. The mud shark, known as the Lone Wolf Nemesis, had a special action when its blood volume reached a certain level, causing instant death from falling damage. In a stroke of luck, Amura used teleportation at a critical moment, transferring the hero to the head of the mud shark. An interesting setting in Shanai allowed the kinetic energy from falling to be converted into damage. The moment the hero collided with the mud shark, the system judged his action as a sacrificial attack. Thanks to the hero's high luck, he not only miraculously defeated the mud shark, but also emerged with a little health left and gained a level. After conquering the regional boss, our male protagonist embarked on the journey towards the third town. However, he sensed the need to conceal Emra, fearing a repeat of the previous riots. Fortunately, Amuru had it all planned out. What he wore was the legendary garb of the deadly rabbit, a secret treasure. Perceiving the confusion on the male protagonist's face, Emi decided to put on a performance. To the protagonist's bewilderment, what should have been a passionate adventure suddenly transformed into a peculiar encounter with a beast girl. Amuru's transformation, a draining feat, allowed only a brief 2.5 minutes of disguise reserved for city entry. Despite resolving the Imra issue, the hero faced another obstacle upon entering the city: suspicious soldiers. His semi-naked appearance and the horror scars drew attention. Unwilling to go through the hassle, Amuru fabricated a pass that left both the speaker and the listener in tears, diverting the soldiers' focus. However, as the chaos settled, the male protagonist noticed odd looks from other players. Initially dismissing it as a mere illusion, he soon found a woman holding his hand. His photo, posted on the forum, had attracted attention. Being a unique existence in the game, players were intrigued by Deadly Rabbit and sought information from the protagonist. While the woman inquired about news, some high-end players fixated on the protagonist's tattoos, a symbol of recognition from Lucan. In the midst of discussions, invitations to join elite teams flooded in unbeknownst to the protagonist. Oblivious to becoming the epicenter of chaos, he focused on dealing with the woman before him. Despite being a novice player, his fighting skills from countless dungeons gave him confidence against the level 99 opponent. Undeterred by the significant level and equipment gap, the protagonist faced Zoe's powerful offense. That forced to adapt his strategy to break into the city's safe zone, Zoe, as a seasoned player, anticipated his every move. Their intense confrontation brought back memories of their previous encounters in a realistic fantasy game. The initial game's objective was to save a kingdom on the brink of destruction, pushing players to cooperate. However, the harsh realism and time-consuming tasks led many players to seek alternative paths. In this twisted environment, our protagonist stood out by robbing those who had just looted a store. In contrast, Zoe, born in this chaotic world, became a country's leader through cunning methods, surpassing even the final boss of the game. After the final decisive battle, both sides were left reeling from losses. The male protagonist found himself in a tense stalemate with Sue, but Miru faced an issue of his own. His transformation with a time limit reached its climax, catching Bao off guard. In front of everyone, Miru transformed into a cute rabbit, diverting attention from the unique plot that was on the brink of exposure. Capitalizing on the distraction, the male protagonist swiftly kicked Srau away and summoned Emu, making a dash for the city. Despite Bao's reluctance to leave, the protagonist assured him safety, promising a photo together. Unfazed by Zima's potential pursuit, the protagonist stopped abruptly, revealing Zhou hadn't come alone this time. 4 red-named players, clearly formidable, appeared before him. Bai Mao unleashed a barrage of magical attacks, but Zhou, using a rare item, the Retribution Scarecrow, absorbed and rebounded the spells, leaving Bai Mao near death. Meanwhile, the male protagonist faced a tough fight against the high-end players. Just when it seemed he was on the verge of defeat, Sholin's arrival turned the tide. The noise attracted Zi's attention, who was pleased to encounter such a powerful character. As Sholin provided a distraction, the male protagonist was surprised to discover Bai Mao had a spell capable of eliminating enemies. The Retribution Scarecrow lost its purple hair, and Bai Mao skillfully removed the most dangerous threat. With the enemies momentarily dealt with, the male protagonist seized the opportunity to escape. Stepping on Zi's armor, he apologized to Sholin, kicked her away, and soared into the city. Despite the desire of some famous players to stop him, the looming presence of the max-level boss behind them dissuaded any interference. Even though the protagonist treated her dismissively, Sholin silently resolved worries for him, and everyone sighed in relief as the male protagonist finally entered the city. Simultaneously, the male protagonist finally reached the Rabbit Kingdom through a portal, a special plot that belonged to him. With the portal's magic, he no longer had to worry about enemies chasing him, allowing a moment of arrogance before receiving an unexpected message from Kay. Curiosity piqued, the protagonist agreed to meet in a previous game. However, the more crucial task at hand was to experience the rare plot of the Rabbit Country, as promised by the Rabbit King. Upon arrival, Emma took him directly to the arena, where the protagonist was tasked to fight 10 monsters using only the initial 2 deadly kitchen knives. Eager to level up and give Sue a lesson in humility, the protagonist accepted the challenge. However, his enthusiasm quickly waned when he encountered the first monster, the Majority Hound, a group setting that ensured more than 5 appeared simultaneously, each at a terrifying level 65. The protagonist's first attempt ended hastily, but determined not to be discouraged, he realized that their coordinated attacks were the real challenge. After 6 challenging rounds, the protagonist figured out their attack methods, understanding the importance of a commander among the hounds. He successfully eliminated the remaining hounds and completed the first round of challenges, hoping the second monster would be less formidable. To his dismay, the next monster was an 8-headed snake bear, but armed with his previous experience, the protagonist navigated through the challenges more smoothly. The 5th round introduced the flying poisonous eagle, a formidable opponent that tested the protagonist's agility. By the 9th round, facing the golem, he finally had only 1 monster left to defeat in this challenge. Unexpectedly, the Rabbit King appeared, triggering an event that revealed a rare magical beast for the protagonist's 10th round of challenges. With a snap of the Rabbit King's fingers, the 10th monster, the arrogant tree demon, revealed its true form. Merged with the tree long ago to survive, the protagonist faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge. The Rabbit King explained that the protagonist only needed to survive for 5 minutes, as defeating the monster was beyond his capabilities. As the challenge began, the protagonist felt underestimated by the arrogant tree demon. His extraordinary reaction ability allowed him to dodge the spears controlled by the demon, but his only means of attack proved ineffective against its magical immunity. With 4 minutes left, the tree demon's attack methods evolved, releasing powerful magic attacks that further increased the difficulty of survival. The protagonist found himself running for his life, unable to fight back in the face of the evolving magical onslaught. The challenge had just begun, with the tree demon promising even more formidable magical attacks in the minutes to come. Amidst the magical onslaught, the tree demon's setting amplified its attack power, leaving the protagonist feeling crushed. Unable to function, he yearned for a rest, realizing he had become cowardly and undisciplined. A sudden awakening brought him back to his former self, full of confidence. The protagonist, no longer confused, approached the tree demon once more, leaving the king puzzled. Ignoring the tree demon's rampage, the protagonist kicked away its staff, only to discover that losing the staff did not decrease its combat effectiveness. The protagonist held on, aiming to survive the last minute. However, the tree demon, at the brink of distraction, summoned chains that restrained the protagonist. Though not fatal, these chains weakened him. In a vulnerable state, the protagonist seized an opportunity, throwing the staff into the air. The tree roots, originally rushing towards him, turned to retrieve the staff, leading to the protagonist's triumph. With the challenge completed, the protagonist was named an honorary citizen of the Rabbit Country. The Rabbit King, pleased with the success, removed the collar-limiting experience points. However, the protagonist was surprised when, instead of receiving a prop, he gained a unique plot titled Fatal Rabbit Narrator, which disgusted him.